Hello everyone, welcome to tonight's stream. Tonight we are going to continue playing the Ace Attorney Chronicles. Joshua, happy birthday to you, man. First of all, this stream is in honor of you. Unfortunately, you are not able to make it because you're watching a movie with your mom, so I'm kind of doing this in honor for somebody that isn't even here. Well, what do you got to do about it, you know? So let's just start. I don't even know where we ended off last time. Investigation part 3. The adventure of the oh yeah, the speckled band. Okay. Let's take a look. 9th of January, the SS Buria, Miss Pavlova's cabin. Somehow the door to the cabin we were in ended up bolted after we made an emergency stop. Sasata took a deep breath, then gently slid back the bolt. Yul, what are you doing in Miss Pavlova's quarters? You both look unhurt. Good. Yes, we're fine, thank you. What on earth happened? Oh yeah, we made a sudden stop for whatever the reason was. That's what we were doing right now. We heard we heard something about how we were going to collide with another ship. Yes, it appears to have been a false report, though. How do you not see that? Like, is it nighttime? Then yes, it makes sense. But if this is also 18 or 1912, whatever, so it's 100 years ago. So you know, they don't have a sonar or whatever, the equipment yet. But honestly, would you be able to see another ship? I don't know. Might be worth looking into. How did that happen? There's a dense fog outside, so it's extremely difficult to see. Someone must have thought he saw a ship ahead. Okay, well, there we go. Just should have skipped one sentence ahead. This person obviously triggered the alarm, and that's why we made an emergency stop. Everything is chaos. Passengers are screaming. Crew are running everywhere. This first class is the only quiet part of the ship at the moment. Oh, I see. Someone triggered the alarm. Does that mean that someone pressed that button outside? You wicked intruder, dressed all in black. You are the devil. Sorry, me? I've been called a lot of things before, but devil is a first. You opened my traveling case. How could you? What? No, we didn't touch it. That's right, Miss Pavlova. It was already opened when we came into your cabin. Inspector. Yes? How does she know that he's an inspector? Arrest this man. I know he did it. Does she not? Okay. He is a criminal. Is it not enough that he killed a man? Da, and he's a stowaway as well. If Vixen promises not to steal chicken, do you believe? Take him away. He is a trespasser as well as everything else. Stowing away, trespassing, killing. She is right. You are devil. Doesn't look good, does it? There is cell below deck. Throw him in. Tomorrow we dock in Hong Kong. Then we give you straight to police. Wait, a cell? Please, Inspector Sanaga, is there nothing you can do? This is a Russian vessel. I really have no jurisdiction here. After my last effort to appeal to the captain's good nature, I think I'm out of options. This is terrible. This is a real crisis. I've got to find a solution. Immediately. Just need to keep calm and focus on the task at hand, which is investigating. Don't touch my things. You want me to show you where crawfish hibernate? What do you think you're doing? Everyone's attacking me, and I was just starting to think she was my friend. Is there anyone who can help me out of this mess? Just need to keep calm. Yeah, we're gonna have the same issue. Yeah, okay. So we need to talk to somebody. And I have no idea who we need to talk to right now, though. Oh, there he is. He's become one with the Why though? What the? What are you doing up there? What is he doing with the tiara, for God's sake, man? Mr. Sholmes? Naturally, I was analyzing what a weight of 20,000 rubles feels like on one's head. Have I not told you that as a detective it is my business to know what other people do not? This isn't mere tomfoolery, my boy. Oh, no, no. Well, why were you hanging from that hook before then? Isn't it obvious to properly assess the weight of the 20,000 rubles? Naturally. I wish to determine if it would bend that conceited-looking hook on the wall, so full of brag and bounce. I never know how to take this man... if I need to take this man seriously or not. Ah, you again, the great detective. Ah, Inspector, I confess I've been looking for you. I have something to report to you most urgently. Well, you might try looking for me somewhere other than a hook on the wall next time. What is it to report? Speak. An urgent report from a great detective that can mean one thing. Yes. The case of the curious murder that took place last night here on this vessel, the steamship Buria, has been solved by me, naturally. Really? Yes, I have eliminated all other possibilities. No other explanations exist. So, allow me to illuminate all your minds. For I am about to reveal my great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case. Great. I think he's giving me a run for my money with saying great. You have solved it. Even Hedgehog understands this case. We all knew who was responsible for killing student boy this morning when we found criminal in wardrobe. It is this stowaway and he has handcuffs to prove it. I wonder what's with his face, you know, it's like he has laid on something or something has laid on him. I didn't do it. The trouble is, there doesn't appear to be anyone else who could have killed the victim. Because as everyone knows, the cabin door was bolted shut from the outside. That means the culprit must be someone who was inside the cabin. Well, if they made a sudden stop last night as well, then that means that the bolt, just like this time, would have just flicked over. Yes, it's what's called a locked room mystery in detective stories. Duh, locked room, that is point. The room was locked. Well, I can't deny that. There's no way the bolt could have been drawn across from the outside of the cabin. You are quite mistaken. The cabin next door is not a so-called locked room at all. What? Oh yes, there's another entrance. An entrance used last night by the culprits in order to gain access to the cabin despite the bolted door. What other entrance? We never discovered one. Why, it gapes open-mouthed at you even as we speak. The ventilator, man. The ventilator? Ha ha ha. You think this is funny? I cannot even put my arm through that hole. That's because your arms are thick as tree trunks. You're suggesting that the culprit entered and left the victim's cabin through that tiny opening. It's not possible. But it is. And last night, the victim even witnessed the intruder in the act of passing through the ventilator. Mr. Sholmes, do you mean... Are you referring to what Kazuma-sama wrote in his diary? I can hear a faint whistling sound. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator. Precisely, my dear madam. But what does it mean? What is this speckled band? Well, the answer to that particular conundrum is in his very cabin. Oh, he's gonna fight. Give him a right, give him a left. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? There's a distinct element of danger, but fear not, I am ready. What I am about to expose for you all to see will shock you to your cause. Behold. What a... So it is a snake. Allow me to introduce to you all to the band, the Speckled Band. A snake? Indubitably blah 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 blah. Everyone is speechless. Mr. Sholmes, just one thing. Pray, what troubles you? Well, that snake isn't really speckled, is it? It looks more stripy, wouldn't you say? Hmm? Yeah, you're right. I think in this case you'd have to call it the striped band, wouldn't you? He's like, bitch, look at my deductions. You both see and observe, with distinction, however. Do you not think that is precisely the trap into which the culprit wishes to fall? Oh my goodness, really? It's a trap? How exactly? I think perhaps it is time I explain the intricacies of my train of thought. Are you ready, Miss Pavlova? I'm sorry for the young man who died, but that is all. His death has nothing to do with me. This whole thing has nothing to do with me. There are two conclusions I have drawn from the facts. Number one. Last night, your friend infiltrated the victim's cabin. And number two. That same friend was responsible for the victim losing his life. No. She turned as white as a ball of rice again. Sholmes must be right, he has hit a nail on the head. This young woman's friend killed Mr. Asogi. It looks like he can't speak with that snake coiled around his head. I would advise as little movement as possible, seaman. You wouldn't want the fangs of that long friend in your neck. I mean, he's got him coiled up or entangled up all around his neck, so you cannot even bite him there, otherwise he would have to move. So everyone, let us begin. Her Longshops is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. The Great Deduction. Oh, here we go. Topic 1. Intruder's identity. Ms. Pavlova, moments ago, you claimed the following. I'm gonna autoplay this. His death has nothing to do with me. This whole thing has nothing to do with me. Yet you cannot deceive yourself. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. And in that very pain that evidences your inextricable links to the victim's death. So we ask you, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on that poor pretentious night? Why, naturally, it was the friend to which you boarded this vessel, was it not? Ah, as I suspected, not a telltale glance. Without doubt, your friend is the horrific serpent we see before us. And yet, that fact leaves us in quandary. The victim's written observations on the night in question tell of a speckled band. Whereas, regrettably, this specimen markings do not fit the description. What explanation can we then give, pray? What was this sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night? This has nothing to do with any of this. Oh, but it does! You have the answer to this quandary even now, hidden behind your back. Yes, that which you are trying but failing to conceal can only be the snake's sloughed skin. Evidently, after the subtle and horrible crime dismissed, blah blah blah. Shed its original skin, no? I don't know what you are talking about. Last night, through the ventilator visible in this cabin, your then speckled friend slid through the door. Using the bell cord on the other side as a bridge, the serpent suddenly descended into the victim's quarters. Into the dim light, it appeared to the young gentleman who was about to lose his life as a speckled band. In summary, the nature of this friend of yours, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a rare breed of snake whose markings change each time it slows its skin. A snake so dreadful we can only imagine it would be found in the deepest depths of India. How Mr. Asogi died. Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter. The grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life, and why? According to the data which I have been apprised, it would appear there were no visible signs of injury. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom. Strangulation. It's probably strangulation. Now, if we take, there have to be bite marks for that, so we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime. Oh no, could there be? Yes, an examination of the deceased body will prove that the cause of death conclusively. The almost but not quite imperceptible puncture wounds left by the venomous fang will seal the truth. Yes, the vestiges of the snakebite delivery by your terrifying friend. This makes no sense. Therefore, is no point threatening. After the incident, you endeavored to hide everything, didn't you? But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right, you hid the evidence that links to you at the victims in the traveling case. When we first met in this cabin, it came to my attention that your case moved periodically. Your serpent assassin was restless inside, no doubt. You don't... It is telling that the victim made note of a low whistling sound. That was your signal, was it not? The sound that you used to train your serpent friends? To train? Indeed. You'd put the serpent through this ventilator and wait, after a period you'd summon it back as a whistle. With a whistle. You couldn't know if the animal had done its duty, so you would listen for signs of life next door. If the victim appeared not to have been dispatched, you'd release the snake once more. Do you deny the snake has undergone such training? It's not true. Having slithered through the ventilator and down the cord, the creature needed only to sink its fangs in once. And its venom would course through the victim's veins, ending his existence forever. That is the true nature of the speckled band that took the poor young man's life. There can be no doubt, my logic is infallible. Death by a venomous snake. Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of the speckled band. Me right now as well. Yeah. The thing is, yes, he did shed his skin, but the only way he could have murdered Asogi is by strangling him, because there were no bite marks whatsoever, because there was no indication of anything on the outside that was related to fangs. Miss Pavlova has trained her pet snake as a killing machine. There, on the floor, you will observe a saucer of milk. The promise of food is the key to training any creature. Incredible. You solved the mystery. Amazing, your great deduction really lives to its name. I see now why Sherlock Holmes has become such a household name. My dear man, it was nothing remarkable. As the Russians say, I could have done it with one left hand. Could I venture an opinion, Mr. Holmes? But of course, what's on your mind? It's just about your deductions before. Some things don't quite make sense to me. I welcome questions as to my methods, and will answer both loudly and proudly. Oh, well, good. First of all... Oh dear. Snakes are egg-laying creatures, part of the reptile family. You are well informed, madam. Ma'am. And reptiles, don't drink milk. It's really only mammals that like to drink milk, you see? Who knows, maybe this one is trained specifically for that. So I'm not sure it would be possible to train a snake using milk as a reward. No matter. No doubt Miss Pavlova used some other tree to encourage her pet to do her bidding. Milk was merely an example, the logic holds. Well, there is something else. Snakes have no ears. Yes, so I'm not sure it would really be possible to signal a snake by whistling. But ma'am, what are of the tales from Arabia? Have you not heard of the snakes that dance to the sound of a flute? I think perhaps the performers play their music in time with the snake's natural movements. Wait, fucking hell, I was today years old when I found that out. What the fuck? I didn't... Oh my god. Are snakes deaf? Like, literally, do they not have any ears? I thought they had some type of puncture hole or whatever. Snakes deaf. Our study further debunks the myth that snakes are deaf. They can hear, just not as well as you or I. Snakes can only hear low frequencies roughly below the 600 Hz mark, whereas most of us can hear much wider range. Snakes probably hear muffled versions of what we do. Ah, so snakes can hear, so they're not deaf, much like she says right here, but they just hear much lower volumes. No hands, no feet, no ears. Hello, Gnomi. You don't like it when I win, do you know? These creatures are so inept as to be practically useless. Don't talk it out on the snakes, Mr. Sholmes. There is one other thing. No, I already figured it was a snake, but yes, it's not a snake in this case, though. Because there are some... the Herlock Sholmes, the great Herlock Sholmes, was deducting. And... it kind of fucked up. You have more. Snakes use the scales on the bellies to propel themselves. So, I'm not really sure that the snake could manage to climb up a flat bell cord like the ones in these cabins. Then it should try harder. Sounds like my deductions at times. Please, don't be angry with me, Mr. Sholmes. The point is, even if the snake had gone through that ventilator to the next door cabin, it couldn't have come back without help. What I'm trying to say is that there are a number of reasons why it's difficult to imagine the snake could have had part in this. Was it Pavlova herself? I think we need to step in and help again, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, no, you don't mean... Yes, we need to modify Mr. Shum's latest deductions and turn them into the greater ones they ought to be. I had a feeling that it was coming. Alright, let's give it a try. Just what I was waiting for, Mr. Naruhodo. Yeah, right. So, cast your eyes down to your wrists again. What? I love the character. It's just so fucking stupid. Yeah, it's just so fucking stupid. I love it. I love it. You've done it again. Your handcuffs are gone. Where did they go? Fear not. I shall see they're restored after our work is done. I really wish you'd leave them off. Now, everyone, let us begin. Herlock Sholmes is proud to present Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. This is probably the finale of this. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. We're gonna do the... And then the spotlight comes in again. Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. Fuck my ass, spank it and call me Sally. No. His death has nothing to do with me, the whole thing has not to do with me. Yet you cannot deceive yourself. So, she was she was completely baffled by this, because he knew that she had a friend, but I'm not sure if it's the pet snake, to be honest. When you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. She does have a pain expression on her face. Yes, that's true. She looks as though Kazuma Sama's death is weighing heavily on her mind. But you're not sure Mr. Shulms read her quite correctly, is that it? Could there be some way to interpret her expression then? Let's take a moment. And really look at very close to Miss Pavlova. Are we just gonna ignore the big guy with the snake on his head? Is there no one else in this room? Interesting. No. So it is this then. Claw scratch. Oh. I don't know. He's Russian, so he probably just knows. I don't know why that guy is chill with a snake on his head. He's probably just very chill with, or very close to the snake. That looks like a very painful scratch wound. It looks like a small animal, and fairly recently too. Well, whatever scratch doesn't appear to be around here. Yes! Yes! Here we go. Oh, we're shattering reality here. Come on, let's go. There we go. Yes! When you recall those horrid events, that claw scratch smarts with pain. Indeed, and simple observation reveals that the wound is fresh. Miss Pavlova, did you in fact receive that scratch sometime last night? I'm the Belgian man. Dominic! Bienvenido! Willkommen zu Belgium. When I think about the young man who died next door, I feel so sad. But when I am sad, the pain from this wound is worse. No. He is moving to Belgium. He is now permanently in Belgium. And it is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. Why, Naomi? That's elementary, my dear girl. He's retarded. Oh, I love it. I love it. So we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into that stole? Okay. Into the victim's cabin of that portentous night. What the fuck are these words? Why, naturally, it was her friend with which you boarded the vessel, was it not? Ah, as I suspected, another telltale glance. You really want to move to the Netherlands, Dominic, or is this just a joke? Without a doubt, your friend's the blah 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 blah. Likely the scratch mark on the back of Miss Pavlova was made by this friend of hers, doesn't it? But who put the snake? Did the big guy? Is the big guy friends with the snake then? Because he's so content with it? Because if she has another friend that's not the snake, then what is it? Snakes don't have claws, do they? No, they don't. They don't even have hands or feet of which claws might grow. Well then, if that snake isn't a pet, what is? What's the true identity of this friend of hers? We should follow her gaze. That's where we'll find the answer. Where is her gaze? Picture cat. It's just a regular cat, for fuck's sake. Here I thought it was gonna be something exotic like a maki or some type of fucking ape or primate or whatever. No, it's just a fucking black cat with a bell. Can we just shoot this thing or throw it overboard already? This must be something Miss Pavlova brought over there when she ran away. She's exceptionally beautiful, isn't she? She's a minor. Don't. It's a little black creature she's holding that caught my eye. Little kitten. Oh, what a cute little kitten. It could vie with you, couldn't it, Naruto, for the blackest outfit? Black kitten. And from the look of this picture at least, Miss Pavlova seems very attached to it. Yes! Break reality. There we go. Boom! Without doubt, your friend is the little kitten we see before us. How do these spotlights even work? Yes, the scratch on the back of your hand makes that abundantly clear. Oh no. But is he the one that did it though? How does a cat... Something tells me that it's still the snake, because there were no exit wounds whatsoever. Maybe he died because of a allergic reaction then? That could be the only thing? I'm sorry if you heard that, but there are motors outside. I don't know why. The whereabouts of this black kitten isn't clear, but what is clear is that you brought the animal with you when you ran away, didn't you? Oh. 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 Daka is my best friend. I couldn't leave her behind. Daka would appear to be a Russian blue. And yet, that fact leaves us in quandary. The victim's written observations on the night in question tell of a speckled band. Whereas, regrettably, this specimen's markings do not fit the description in any way. What explanation can we then give, pray? What was this sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night? No, don't look at me. This has nothing to do... Okay. Oh, but it does. You have the answer to this quandary even now, hidden behind your back. What is that, though? Yes, that can only be... No, that's no snake slot skin. I don't know what that is, though. Took something out and hid it behind her back. If she just left it in her pocket, no one would ever have known. Oh, yes. Ploys like that are Mr. Shom's specialty. He's ever so cleverly forced to reveal something. I thought deduction was a specialty. Or maybe making me believe that it was a ploy too. Anyway. I find it hard to believe that's the skin of a snake. In which case, just what is Miss Pavlova hiding behind her back? What is that? Is that a spit dart? And it is a band, but what is it? Yeah, exactly. Soft and fluffy, long piece of cloth of some sort. That looks like a handle on the end. I think that's maybe a cat's toy. This sort is common in the West, apparently. Is that a toy for cats? Oh, it's a thing that you can play with your cat. So like the thing is just the handle, and it's like a ribbon of some sorts to play with your cat with. I don't know why this is a thing, but it appears to be the case. You know, it was the 1920s, they had to do other stuff. But did she strangle him with this thing then? She doesn't have... She's fucking 14. And the guy that died is twice as big as her. Is it her, though? I'm so confused right now. I don't know what to think. It could be still the snake that killed her, though. Kittens in particular love that sort of play. You only need to wave it in front of them, and they pounce to catch it. That sounds positively adorable. Okay. What do you want me to do? Yes. 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 The thing you are trying but failing to conceal is a cat's toy. Precisely, and the true nature of the now infamous speckled bond. And it was this toy that you dangled through the ventilator. You waved it around, I presume. Naturally, the victim could not fail to notice it. Wait, how long is that shaft then? Is it like this long? Because the speckled band seems to be around this long or something. That ventilator shaft, to me, in between, like, rooms, there's an entire room that can be used as a flooding chamber just in case, so nothing else fits in there. It's called a cofferdam, I think it's in English. It's also called a cofferdam. This is my specialty, my dear boy. This is my specialty. The great Harley Sholmes. That is my thing. For what reason? My dear boy, there can be only one answer to that. After her feline friend disappeared through the ventilator into the neighboring cabin, Miss Pavlova attempted to use a speckled cat's toy to incite the creature to return. Hello, Rick. Hello, hello. You still think it's gonna be 1-1 after, and then penalty wins Netherlands or something? What I would. Okay. In summary, the nature of this friend of Miss Pavlova, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a blithesome Russian blue breed of a cat by the name of Daka. I'm thinking 2-1 for England. A truly troublesome feline, young Daka is proving to be. She must be caged once found. You will forgive us for borrowing the photograph of your pet, Miss Pavlova. Okay, thanks. It was after I gave her food last night. That's when it happened. She scratched the back of my hands and then ran up the bell cord. Before I could do anything, she had disappeared through the ventilator. Daka, she is so naughty. A beloved kitten. Solved. I have that in my Steam page, Rick. So yes, make your own city and be the emperor. Yes, 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 be the Senate. We don't do emperor here, we only do Senate. Emperor seems like a little bit of a too much of a Nazi thing for me to do. But yes, I do have it in my Steam library, so don't worry about it. It will come one day. I still have 20 other games to play, so... Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter. The grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life, and why? According to the data of which I have been apprised, it would appear there were no visible signs of injury. But how would a cat kill him then? Then still, the cat is not able to kill him. And he's not speckled. Fuck me. Maybe it's both. A terrible venom. No, there's no venom there. What Mr. Shulm said, it's true. There were no signs of a wound anywhere in Kazuma's body. That's right. But Mr. Shulm seems to be unaware of one very important detail. Kazuma wasn't poisoned. Yes, it would seem so. Let's give him the information he's missing now. No. 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 Where's the... Can I examine this? Damage to the cervical vertebrae. The victim's neck was almost certainly broken as a result of a strong blow to the area. I think I know what happened. I think I know what happened. Nobody killed him. No, 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 no. No, nobody killed him. He killed himself. There's no information. That's why. Just because I'm reading this right now, damage to the cervical vertebrae in instant death. The victim's neck was almost certainly broken as a result of a strong blow to the area. A cat or a snake can probably do this, you know, can coil him to death, can strangle him to death, yes. But coiling him and then strangling him doesn't give a strong blow at all. That just chokes him, you know. It doesn't break his neck, it just chokes him until he's out of breath. Because we have the information about the boat making a emergency stop earlier, everybody was all over the place. You know, everything fell down, everyone fell over one another. There were reports that an emergency stop was last night as well. So what I think indeed happened is he broke his neck just by tripping. Because of that specific circumstance. I don't know how he exactly broke his neck, but I think he broke his neck because he indeed he fell. There is no killer. Yes. Break reality, will you? There we go. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by the post-mortem report. Ah, yes. I knew it was one or the other. His neck was... Indeed, the breaking of the cervical vertebrae is fatal. Only that Goliath would be strong enough to survive that. Seaman strong enough isn't some immortal freak, you know. The jury is out. Anyway, we have on good authority that the victim's neck was broken. Now, if we take that as fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime. Oh no, could there be? Yes. If the deceased body will prove... Kazuma died because his neck was broken. In other words, he was probably struck by something. Or someone. That's a distinct possibility. As of yet, no weapon has been found though. But he did mark that Russian word over here. He did mark that. And I don't know how he did that if he broke his neck. Because breaking your neck is an instant death. Most of the time. Depends on where, of course. But I suppose it's possible that he had a fall and hit the ground awkwardly. It could have been a terrible act of misfortune that he broke his neck completely by accident. Oh yes, a bad fall could explain it. It's rather hard to believe Kazuma-sama though. He wasn't a clumsy man. Well, we need to fix this deduction somehow. Is there anything from the scene that can explain what happened? Oh, here we go. I broke my neck when your sister walked by and I was looking at that bunda! Oh, we do have this. You're telling me he slipped over and fell? Yes. And the sister, yes, one of the two. An examination mark on the floor proved the cause of death conclusively. This particular mark, so prominently visible next to the victim's body, is a deposit of shoe polish. Shoe polish? Indeed, positively identified by a little analysis device I constructed, which I carry now as a matter of course. And if the police ask, it is always the one that's not honorary. Okay, great, Rick, great. Great. Now I know why I'm never gonna make it big. It's because of this type of shit. Beeswax, tallow and dye were my result. The undeniable ingredients of shoe polish. And the color of the polish is a perfect match to the color of Miss Asogi's lace leather shoes. Oh, it's the bell! The pink thing is the bell that was on the cat's neck, so he did trip over the cat. Fuck me, man. I see it now, the pink, I thought it was some type of cup or whatever, but I'm looking at it upside down, it's a bell. Mr. Asogi must have caught his foot at that point on the floor and tripped. Please no, and by a dreadful turn of misfortune, caught his neck against some immovable object as he fell to the floor. Well, probably the ground. Suffering a fatal blow to the spine, the victim's vertebrae shattered, and in that instant he lost his life. I don't know. I don't know anything about this. If that really is true, Miss Pavlova. Or is that really true, Miss Pavlova? Oh, here we go. What about the evidence left at the scene where Mr. Asogi lost his life? Yes, the facts are as clear as day to me. You did all you could to conceal the incriminating evidence. But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. She wasn't looking at that. That's right, you hid the evidence inside the traveling case. I don't believe it. Kazuma merely tripped over and now he's no more? It can't be true, I refuse to accept it. I know it's hard to believe, but the mark on the floor does seem to suggest that's what happened. But... And if that Miss Pavlova's deduction, Miss Pavlova is trying to hide some evidence that would prove it. Here in this cabin. Somewhere in the direction that she just cast her eyes. Where, I wonder? Let's have a good look around. The answer must be here somewhere. Please don't tell me that he got killed by the fucking tiara. Did he trip over the tiara? Are you fucking kidding me? Somebody appears to have dropped 20,000 rubles here. It hasn't been dropped, Naruto. It's been placed. Starting to sound like Mr. Sholmes. Stop trying to sound like the great detective. Such a great detective he is. Did he fell over a tiara and then died? Are you kidding me? You tried to hide the evidence in plain sight. That's not the case, is it? Oh no, don't give that wide and ridiculous. I know the truth. That 20,000 rubles is enough to make anyone lose their head. That deduction was wanting in every way. Damn it! I'm quite proud of it. I find myself wanting never to have heard it. I'm quite pained by it, in fact. Oh. I'll try again. Oh, we still have 4 tries. There. Yes, yes, yes. God, do I have to redo everything? Well, where is it, though? Could be in the case. A waste paper basket. What the fuck is in there, then? Perhaps all the first-class cabins have them, but Miss Pavlova only started occupying this cabin late last night. Presumably there's not much rubbish in there yet. Oh, there's the bell. How did she take this half, then not the other half? Why is it a glass bell? Why would you wear, or why would you put a glass bell on your kitten's neck? Yes. Shadow reality for me, will you? Bonk. Alright, I'm off. Alright, Rick. Let's see who's gonna win in about an hour or two. Here we have a fragment of some intricate glass object. It would seem one that has a familiar air, in fact. Precisely. We found another piece of broken glass on the floor in Mrs. Asogi's cabin. And as you can see, the 2 pieces fit together perfectly. Oh no. Oh no, no. So, Miss Pavlova, shall we consider what this tells us? Why would it be that part of this glass object, which was evidently broken at the seam of the victim's death, should be found in a waste paper basket in your cabin? Why don't you just tell them what happened? I don't know, and that harsh Russian accent of yours won't save you this time, girl. Why? Because we have conclusive evidence linking you to the bell in question. Take it away, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes. The evidence linking Miss Pavlova and a little glass bell. That would be... this. If you look at this photograph, you can clearly see hanging from Darka's collar. Nice name, Darka. Dark plus A. The very glass in question. I feel sorry for her, man. She's fucking 14. She has... Keep in mind, by the way. Keep in mind, I feel so sorry for her because of the fact that she did not do anything. She's getting shit on by 2 detectives here. Or she's 16, either 14 or 16. So she's underage. She has no parents. She's a stowaway as well on this ship because she dressed like a man to be sure that she is not recognized. She was a part of the ballet, but she didn't want that. She didn't want to be there because they treated her like shit. You know, barely any food or whatever. So she took the tiara, changed herself, disguised as a man, went on board the ship, then took her cat with her only friend, and now that cat has accidentally killed somebody by standing in front of somebody else. And now she's getting the deuce because of it. In the cause of death, that fateful stumble. Your absent female friend, Darka. I couldn't tell anyone. Sorry. Death by tripping over a cat. Jesus, can you imagine that's how you end? Deduction complete. Elementary, my dear boy. What did I say in the announcements chat, by the way, for this stream? Cobblemon finale. Yes, cool. Okay, so this is gonna be the finale stream for episode 2 then. I feel like this is actually the end. I don't think we're gonna go into court and try to prosecute her because she basically... There's no one to prosecute except for the cat. So, what do you want to do? Yes, Discord finds you guilty. Meow, 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 meow. Why don't you tell us now, Miss Pavlova? Tell us exactly what happened last night. I think what happened is, before we do any of this, that cat snuck through the ventilator, went over there, he tripped over the cat, and just... Because she tried to get him back, so he heard that the whistling that she did, he didn't come back. He tripped over her, or he tripped over the cat. I don't know if Dark is man or female, male or female, don't care either, to be honest. And then she got him back with the cat toy, either with the cat toy or she just grabbed him. It was a little after 1 in the morning. It was so late, but I hadn't had time to feed Darka, so I gave her some food. And then, all of a sudden, she scratched me and jumped out of my hands. People do say that cats become very anxious and nervous in new environments. She was so fast, she disappeared through the ventilator before I could stop her. And that is how you acquired a rather nasty wound on the back of your hand, I take it. Well, she just said that, didn't she? Yes. And I had read the rules on the wall. Read. Not read. I knew that I was not allowed Darka with me. Yes, modern science suggests that animals can carry infectious diseases. It's a precaution, really. So I listened and listened, trying to hear if there was some noise in the next cabin. It was very quiet. I was sure if someone was there, he must be sleeping. So at that point, you thought it's safe to try to lure the kitten back again. By dangling the end of the toy through the ventilator and into the adjoining cabin. Darka always loves this toy, but it didn't work. Nothing worked. I tried using her favorite toy. I tried whistling to her softly, but nothing... She didn't return. So the faint whistling sound Kazuma wrote about in his diary was Miss Pavlova trying to retrieve a pet. Cats have a propensity to remain hidden in the shadows when frightened. They called the cat him and her. Oh, okay. Yes, so there was nothing else I could do. I just had to wait until she had calmed down. Da pussy. How did he still ride then? Because if he fell over the cat, he just instantly died. He wouldn't be able to ride anything at all. Did she do that then? Then afterwards, nothing. It was totally silent. From the appearance of the brown mark on the floor, it seems likely that what you heard was the victim stepping on a glass bell and tripping up. What happened to Osanaga? Basically, he went up to the captain to try because we had to make sure we had to ensure him and the rest of the crew that we were innocent. And he went up to the captain to ask if we could be allowed on board every part of the ship. And considering the man is Russian, he just beat him the fuck up. Because he's Russian. The SS Borea is a large vessel, but even she can pitch and roll violently without warning. If Mr. Sogi was already off balance as a result of the ship lurching when the kitten got on his feet, the combination of unfortunate factors could have easily caused him to fall over. Yep, tripped and died. But what became of the kitten afterwards? Threw it overboard. In the end, I managed to get her to come back through the ventilator. Yet Darka's nowhere to be seen. I must have forgotten to lock my case, and now she's disappeared again. How did the snake come on board? Who the fuck put the snake on board? Because the snake is kind of very convenient, but not being explained right now, which is annoying as fuck, but okay. Gracious, that cat is as insufferably restless as I am. Well, he knows something about himself at least. When I woke this morning, I heard that a young man in this cabin next to mine had died, but I couldn't bring myself to tell anyone what had happened. Why does her hair... So she has this elastic on her hair, or what do you call it in English? A band on her hair, and then there's a hook. Over there. I was too scared. Scared that they would send me back. Oh, hold on a minute. What about the snake? You're right, where is it? If the snake isn't your friend, Miss Pavlova, then whose is it? I just need to shut up for like 2 minutes and then it'll come eventually, isn't it? What on earth is such a dangerous creature doing on board the ship? It's his. Oh, I didn't say? Snake is my friend. His name is Piroshko. Hmm? What? What? That snake belongs to you? He escaped from a cage when the emergency alarm sounded. I was looking for him. I did not expect to find him in here. Yes, how did that snake get into this cabin? But animals are not permitted on board. Ha! We are at sea for 1 year. You want to be so long without close friend? Without someone who understands? Couldn't you find someone a little bit more human who understands you better? But my dear burly fellow, a gargantuan venomous snake? Surely you can appreciate the danger you're putting everyone in? No venom. Hmm? Piroshko does not have venom. He is harmless. Very long, but very gentle. Yeah, that's why he's all over your face right now. He is adorable, like Granny. It's venomless? Yes, now he is hungry, so he is in bad mood. But once I feed him, you will see big smile. And you feed him, what, milk, I suppose? Ha, like they say, they milk chickens? Ridiculous. Snakes that drink milk are only in stupid stories. Piroshko eats mouses. Big, fat, round mouses. Okay, so is that what the mousetrap in the passageway out there is for? Of course. How else can I catch my friend's favorite food? You just buy it? Nothing says top of the food chain like the look in their eyes right now. It refuses to drink milk. It can't hear a whistle. It can't climb up a bell cord, and it's not even venomous. How the deuce did something so inept land a starring role? It's not my fault. I do not make up stories. My Piroshko is nothing to do with this incident. So that's what happened. That's the truth behind my best friend's tragic death. I like how there's different tones for the sounds it makes when there's a woman talking or when there's a man talking. You know, the women are kind of higher toned or pitched, and the males are lower, deeper in terms of the sound effects. I understand the difficult situation you found yourself in, and I do sympathize. But please remember this. A young man lost his life. If you're going to attempt to cover up your guilt with lies, then... What is she guilty here of, though? I mean, it was... Well... It's no... The only thing she's... having a cat on board, yes. But the thing now I'm talking about in relation to the murder. What could they hang her with? She had a cat on board, first of all? Yes, that's true. She isn't allowed to be on this ship? Yes. Basically a stowaway. She's a minor, so that'll soften the condition, but that's not what I'm looking for here. In relation to the murder, what could she be charged with? Not guilty by association, because she didn't even know. Well, she can be charged with cover-up. Hiding evidence, yes, exactly. Then no matter what the circumstances, I cannot forgive you. But what are you talking about, Miss Mikataba? What lies? Miss Pavlova just confessed everything. It was just a series of unfortunate events, an accident. I'm no great detective like Mr. Sholmes. I don't have a gift for knowing the truth. But even I can see that it was not the truth. Don't you agree, Mr. Naruto? To be perfectly honest, yes. There's a discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm sure of it. I just can't quite put my finger on it. Sholmes, I confess. I was intending to let Scotland Yard deal with any outstanding issues on this matter. I'm only present here for a very specific reason. The truth is, you, Mr. Naruhodo, are simply a distraction. I do hope you've not been finding your shackles too uncomfortable. Oh, there we go again. Especially as they're on your wrist as a result of my intervention. I was rather hoping I could resolve matters before we made our next port call. You were, Mr. Sholmes? Yes, but I overlooked one important detail. The deceased young man was a very close companion of yours. Was he not? Yes. Kazuma was my close friend. I owed him my freedom, even. In that case, we must follow this to its conclusion. No further distractions. You must uncover the real truth here, Master Naruto. Whatever that may be. The key to this is the discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm sure. If I can chase that down, maybe the truth will become clear. Okay, so what are we missing, though? How you really died. About that scene in your cabin really came to me. We are still missing how the word came on the floor. Alright, I'll see what I can do. Excellent. What we should ponder first is the victim who lost his life in a cabin that was bolted shut from the inside. Was this truly an unfortunate accident? Or was it in fact no accident at all? That is what we must establish in the first instance, but we've already established it, haven't we? The man tripped over the kitten and then climbed into his cabin via the ventilator. Tragic, yes, but still an accident. Wait, let's just take a step back. It doesn't make sense if that's really what happened, does it? I'm going to have to ask you to spell it out for me, I'm afraid. Yes, it's starting to take shape now. There's a clear contradiction between the facts and Miss Pavlova's story here. The evidence is right there in Kazuma's cabin. It's undeniable. His death couldn't possibly have been a mere accident. Now, so that's the thing. I thought maybe she just written it down and then just posed the body like that. That could be a thing. But the thing is, he tripped over. He didn't die. I think he was still alive when he tripped over the cat. He probably just... But then how did he die? Really? Let us show our hand, Mr. Naruhodo. Time to present the evidence. The evidence that proves unequivocally that the victim's death... That the only thing that's... This. The truth is clearly recorded in this photographic print. There's no way that Mr. Asogi could have left this message on the floor. That script, it's Russian, isn't it? Indeed it is. The word written means wardrobe. I see what you mean. Most people would leave a dying message in their native language, Japanese in this case. But maybe he was studying Russian. Why would he put it in Russian, you bitch? It's a simple language. He could have picked it up very fast. It doesn't seem likely. That's actually not the point. It makes no difference whether he knew Russian or not. Simple language. Das svidanya. Well, it could be simple, yes, but it's just... Not simple to us, probably. Sorry, what do you mean? Exactly what I said before. I didn't expect this plot twist, to be honest, so this is good. This is solid. Because everything made sense, apart from this. And I completely forgot about this, because this is one of the first things that I actually saw. There's no way that Mr. Soki could have left this message on the floor. Oh, and the reason why is clearly explained here. Oh, is it? Instant death, yes. Oh no! I'm an inspector, how could I have missed this? Which means, after the victim fell to the floor, he couldn't possibly have written anything. Because he was already dead. Yeah, but does this change anything about the fact that he murdered? Maybe she just posed the body. That's, you know, she just posed the body like so, and then she wrote it down herself. There's something else we found in Mr. Asogi's cabin. A remnant of something that couldn't possibly have been there. If what Miss Pavlova told us was true. What? Hmm. Oh, I'm out of ideas now. Kazuma would stick this over the doors. It says keep out in Japanese, though I'm sure the Russian can actually read it. I'm just gonna try this. What point are you trying to make with that evidence? I'm starting to see how Kazuma's death really happened, I think. No. I think that you are starting to see nothing of the sort. And that was the evidence to prove it. If it was no accident, then what should we be looking for as one of two things? Either the absence of something you would expect to find at the scene of an accident, or the presence of something you wouldn't. The absence or the presence of... So... I confess, my language I see doesn't fill me with confidence, Mr. Naruto. I am out of ideas. Like, okay, we are looking for something that isn't there, or we are looking for something that isn't supposed to be there. Putting this message on the floor aside, there's something else that gives the truth away. I'm gonna cheat for this one because I am not gonna be able to find this out before I die. Naomi, any ideas before I find this out? The Ace Attorney walkthrough. We're just gonna do this. That's quite a lot. Are you looking the answer up? Yes. But I'm waiting on your decision. If you have anything. Because I don't know. I'm out of ideas. And I don't want to... Neither do I. That's the thing. I miss half of the story. Yes, you did. What the fuck? In other words, the mark on the floor. What does this have to do with anything? Why is this the answer? This piece of broken glass next to the mark on the floor. But that's the glass bell the kitten had around its neck. We already know all about that. It was broken in half when the victim tripped over the cat and fell. So we already have a satisfactory... Where's the flaw in that logic? Fortunately, there's a very big flaw, a fatal flaw. If that's really what happened, then how did one half of the bell end up back here in the cabin? Now I'm just confused. Yeah, so she missed the other half. Yeah, I know that. So if she did pick it up, then the other half should have been there too. Because they're both in the same room. They're both next to one another if the glass broke there. I'm so confused as to where the game is going with this, though. Would you care to explain that, Miss Pavlova? Both these pieces of evidence clearly point to the same conclusion. And when Mr. Sogi died last night in his cabin, there was someone else in the room. And that same person deliberately arranged the scene to disguise the truth, in order to cover up his or her own guilt. Yes, there was someone else present in Mr. Sogi's. You are wasting time. Someone else was there? Duh, of course, we know this. What are you talking about? The bulkhead was bolted shut from inside. There was no way in or out. Oh, yes. And only other person in the cabin when young student died was you. It's true, I was in the cabin when it happened. You were shut inside the cabin wardrobe, to be precise about the details. But I don't know Russian. There's no way I could have left that message. Not would have. There's no way you could have left that message. To be precise about the details. Would you mind? Forgive me, my dear fellow. As I was saying, the person in question wrote the word wardrobe in Russian on the floor. In an attempt to incriminate me for the crime, even though I had been asleep in there for the entire time. And then the same person picked up the broken glass bell that had fallen on the floor, for fear of it becoming evidence that would show how Mr. Sogi really died. But why wouldn't this person have taken all of the pieces of the bell anyway? Leaving half behind was going to raise questions. Yes, well, it was past 1 o'clock in the early hours of the morning. The cabin would have been quite dark. The single small lamp from the ceiling would barely have cast any light on the floor there. Little wonder then that the culprit had failed to notice a fragment of the tiny... Well, the thing is, if you know it's an entire bell, why would you only pick up half the bell? Why wouldn't you look for the entire bell? You also suspect me, don't you? Seaman Stronganov. Nina is woman of sea. She is daughter of strong sailor. 2 years ago, they noticed her dancing skills and she went away to join ballet company. But before, she was dancer on the ship, a member of ship's bands. You do not accuse Ship's Angel of being criminal. Oh, that's why she came aboard the ship. You say not that young. When young student died, Nina was there in his cabin. But that is not possible. I give my tooth. Well, this is almost interesting. And why would you give your tooth, pray? How can you be so sure? You are a great detective. You should know. Look truth in eyes. Cabin bulkhead was bolted from inside. Nobody could go into cabin. Not Nina, not anyone. Or you want to tell me that killer can walk through locked doors? Yes, it's impossible. But wait, I've read about this in detective stories. People often tie thread around door latches so they can open and close them from the outside. Tie thread? Okay. Are you stupid? These bulkheads are not barn doors. Certainly not. These are watertight doors, as one would expect to find on any modern steamship. Constructed of heavy steel. With not a gap inside. Not threads or needles or magnets could have been used. No, of course not. I thought so too. But Miss Naroda suggested it earlier, so... Could you shift onto me like that? What the fuck? So Seaman Songanov has a valid point. Well, we did see the... Not necessarily. Yes, exactly. I put it to you that I could bolt this cabin door without laying a finger on it. He's going to make an emergency stop, isn't it? We can see the traces of the method I have in mind. Yep, it's behind him. Well, Mr. Naruto? I believe you know what I mean, don't you? Yes, I'm onto your track again. I was a little bit lost before, but now I'm on your track again. Of course, we all fell. Indeed we have. So would you care to do the honors, Mr. Naruto? Point out the telling signs of metal that was used to slide the cabin door. Well, so fucking... It's a fucking... Yes! Look at the bookcase there. See how all the books and things on it have toppled over? That must have happened when the ship made its emergency stop before. Yes, that's right. It's a very powerful vessel after all. When the engines are thrown into reverse, a violent jolt goes across the entire ship. Any small objects that aren't fastened down are bound to fall over. I believe, yes, it's what's known as the force of inertia, acting on the objects. Is there nothing that Cesar-san doesn't know, or is that in a book at least? I don't know. The same force that pushed over these books in the bookcase also made something else in this cabin move. Woordloper's handbook. Yes, there's all the neat little things. It's like a encyclopedia. Encyclopedia, whatever. The ball on the cabin door. Oh no, it was very obvious just after the emergency stop that the ship made earlier. We had come into this cabin not long before and we had bolted the door. But then... we hadn't bolted the door. Okay. Hello, is anybody in there? Oh yes. In my ass. That's it. When the ship stopped suddenly, the bolt flew across and locked the door. Yes, it's made of metal, but it's small and light enough to be moved by the ship's sudden change of speed. Or the force of inertia, if you want to call it that. Are you trying to say that last night, after Mr. Sogi was killed... Yes's barrier made another emergency stop? When I woke up this morning and looked around the cabin, I thought it looked a little odd. All the books on the shelves had toppled over and all the ornaments. It was almost if someone had run their hand across the shelves and deliberately knocked everything over. Oh yeah, I remember that. And I stood them up all again, didn't I? Then when we came into this cabin, we were surprised to see the same things in here. All the books and everything had toppled over, just like in Mr. Sogi's cabin. Oh my! Do you have anything to say about this, Miss Pavlova? Are you out of your mind? You say Beria made the emergency stop? That seems a little far-fetched. How could that possibly have happened? Unless you're saying that the culprit is actually someone from the engine room. Oh, it is simple enough? Are you forgetting the button in the passageway outside? Used to trigger the emergency alarm? Oh yeah, of course. There was a notice, wasn't there? Telling you only to press the button in times of emergency. On dark nights when the fog is dense, the captain cannot afford to rely on the eyes of someone else, hence the placement of a number of buttons around the vessel. The sort of button one is almost compelled to press to satisfy one's curiosity. Wait, it was you? When the button is pressed, two things happen in the interest of safety. The emergency alarm bell rings and the vessel comes to a complete stop. As indeed it did a little earlier today. Mr. Sholmes, surely it wasn't you... As I always say, a button has but one purpose in life. To be pressed. Yep, whatever the occasion. He sounds almost proud of himself. How dare you mess with ship? I'll report you to Captain. You are in much trouble now. No, I'm sure all that can wait until later. Let us not overlook the fact that we have now learned a valuable lesson. When a vessel makes an emergency stop, the bolts on the cabin doors slide closed. So what we must now consider, yes, now comes down to one thing. Last night, after what happened to Mr. Sogi, did the ship make an emergency stop, or did it not? You are idiots, bury a huge ship with many passengers. If we make an emergency stop even in the middle of the night, there would be chaos everywhere. What are your thoughts, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, it's certainly possible that some kind of emergency happened last night. We have evidence to support that idea. Really? What evidence, Mr. Naruhodo? Fascinating. Do show us, my good man. The ship's log, right? That's the only thing because it's empty. After 2 AM, yeah. Yes. It is your duty to patrol the first class area of the ship, is that right? That is correct. The ship's log here. This would be where you recorded the details of your duties? What are you doing with that? That is mine. Ah, you rather careless left it at the top of the little makeshift bureau in the passageway out there. But as responsible passengers, we took it into our care. I left it there on purpose, that's where I put it always. The point is, looking at what you usually record, it's clear that under normal circumstances you write the phrase nothing to report every 30 minutes. But from 2 o'clock last night until first light this morning, nothing was recorded at all. Nothing recorded in the log. That is... because nothing happened. But if nothing happened, you would normally write nothing to report, wouldn't you? Indeed so, which tells us that shortly after 2 AM, something happens. Aboard the SS Buria. Okay, so the sailor killed him, is what you're saying. Are you suggesting that the ship really did make an emergency stop in the middle of the night? Stop talking rubbish. If I'm perfectly honest, I find it a little hard to believe myself. Oh, why? Well, because if something as major as that happened, surely all of us would have noticed? We all know what it feels like now, thanks to the emergency stop we made earlier. The ship lurched so violently and the alarm bell was so loud. I can't imagine anybody would sleep through that, even if it happened in the dead of night. Well, no, that's a good point. At least we shifted the problem away from us. What of the throbbing? Your head, man. The throbbing of your head. From earlier. Oh yes, I have a headache. You're right. In fact, I haven't been feeling myself since I woke up today. Nor have I. Oh yeah, there was some... Oh, that's where the poison comes in. So everybody was drugged with... the food was drugged, because... I think... yeah. The main character has the same issue. Everything has felt sort of hazy. I can't really remember anything after that. Yeah, everybody was drugged, so... The one who actually did it could just... do whatever you wanted. I had already been dragged out of the wardrobe. Handcuffs? Yes. You bought this vessel as a stowaway, didn't you? Well, yes. Sorry. The stowaway class of accommodation doesn't usually include meals. What did you survive on? He was always happy to share his meals with me. So you enjoyed some of the whole roast chicken dish that was served yesterday evening, I take it? Yes, in fact. I had all of that. Kazuma wasn't fond of chicken. Oh really? So the victim didn't need any chicken at all? That's right. He didn't touch it. Is that relevant? My dear fellow. Does that not strike you? Mr. Jones, do you mean to say that there was something wrong with the chicken? Well, not something wrong. I wouldn't necessarily say something wrong because come to think of it, there wouldn't be something wrong with the chicken if it was poisoned. The poison would just be added, so there wouldn't be anything wrong necessarily with the chicken. It would just be an add-on. The meal prepared for the passengers last night, tampered with by the addition of a sulfuric designed for a very deep slumber for those who consumed it. A sleeping drug? Do you mean whoever did this laced every meal's sleeping drug so no one would notice the emergency stop? That's not what he means, or a far-fetched idea. Precisely. Would certainly be impossible, unless, that is, every single member of the crew was a conspirator. Well, Seaman? I'm sorry to say that any more deception in this manner will get you nowhere. If you refuse to talk, there would have been an inquiry made through the shipping company, of course. And were that to happen, every member of the crew, and the captain himself, would be hauled over the coals. For aiding and abetting a renegade. Is this where the, Please, no more, I will tell everything. These crewmen are your former comrades, I believe. Yes. So when I decided to run away, I asked them to help me. We all agreed to help everyone together. She threw away everything, her fame in the ballet, Mother Russia. We want to help our angel. I don't believe it. You are right. We put sleeping dog in chicken last night. Yes, I remember now. I did notice chewing on a lump of something strange and bitter at one point. That we could not make all drug, how do you say, dissolve? Talk about heavy seasoning. At midnight, in what's near Shanghai, we brought our angel on board. She was helped by comrade on shore and with small fishing boats. When all the passengers of the SS Barrier slept soundly, thanks to the almost magical effects of the slumber-inducing potion that evening meals had contained. So if that's what happens, the only people awake on the ship last night were the crew, people who dislike chicken, and the newly boarded passenger, Miss Pavlova. And that means it would have been possible for you. You could have used the emergency stop trick to lock Kazuma's cabin door. Oh, I think I know what happened. Now I think if I have the twist correct, then the following happened. So, Kazuma, so the victim didn't like chicken. He gave it to us. That's why we fell asleep. Kazuma didn't like chicken. And the entire crew, including Pavlova, noticed So Pavlova got on board the ship when everyone was sleeping, everyone was drugged and whatever. The entire crew knew about it, and because Kazuma didn't like chicken, he probably knew, or he heard something, checked it out, and then he saw her with one of the crewmen, which meant that, or which basically means that one of the crewmen or Pavlova killed Kazuma because he saw Pavlova. And if it was a neck-breaking incident, then that means that, you guessed it, it's the big man, probably. And how does that make sense? Surely every cabin on the door would have ended up locked in that case, and that would have been a complete chaos. Oh, I wouldn't say so. What? Of course. Just like us, all the other passengers would have eaten their evening meal of chicken in their cabins. After which they would have been overwhelmed by tiredness because of the sleeping drug. Quite. And accordingly, all passengers were already in their cabins for the night. The overwhelming majority of passengers would habitually sleep with their cabin doors bolted anyway. And so not one of them would have found it remarkable to find the door locked in the morning. In summary, in order to fasten the bolt of a single cabin door on the ship, the culprit brought the entire vessel to an emergency stop in the early hours of the morning. Oh, I wonder what he has to hide. You have talked a long time and said many things. What's his point? The point is what I said earlier. There was somebody else present on the scene when the victim lost his life last night. Someone who left a message in Russian on the floor in an attempt to incriminate another. Someone who tried desperately to hide the broken fragments of glass that would reveal the culprit's identity. And someone who abused the ship's emergency stop procedure in order to lock the door. All told, a busy night. But... I don't know about any of this. I'm just a little girl. Exactly, you're 14 years old. You like to speak with your long English words and explain your clever ideas. But I am sailor, and sailors don't listen to long, boring stories. We don't believe. To be honest, sailors are the people who tell long and sometimes quite boring stories about what happened at sea, so don't give me that. A laudable trait. I'm quite of the same disposition, my good man. Observation to me is everything. Mr. Norihodo. Do you hear it? That accusatory cry of guilt on the wind. What accusatory cry of guilt? Sorry, you've lost me. Proof of involvement, man. But you can't hear such a call with your ears. No. You must hear it with your eyes. For observation is the basis of all deduction. What are you talking about? I believe the time has come. For one final logic and... Oh, for fuck's sake, man. So, Mr. Narrator, if your assistance, if you please. With what exactly, Mr. Sholmes? What observation, my dear fellow? Just as I said, of these two provocateurs. Observation. If you remember, Mr. Narrator, we know that somebody tried to fabricate evidence, don't we? By tampering with the scene of Mr. Sogi's death. What we're looking for is some trace of evidence that one of these two was in there when it happened. Precisely. You are delightfully quick to grasp my meaning. Alright, I'll see what I can see. So we're looking for a trace of evidence that shows someone else was there last night when Kazuma died. Ink stain. Oh, look at this. It's some kind of stain in an unusual place. Yeah, you're right. It looks like ink, if I'm not mistaken. Ink, and look at the color too. It's clear where this came from. Yes! Seems strong enough. You seem to have quite a large purple stain on the back of your uniform there. Yes, I don't know where the dirt comes from. So nothing in particular comes to mind about the stain. What are you trying to say? It would appear that the significance of the stain has escaped your attention, Seaman. Allow us to make it plain. There's a very large purple sign on the back of Seaman's strong uniform. And I think that's what made it clear. Indeed it is. So, Mr. Naruhodo, present the evidence that proves it. My pleasure. Alright then, the evidence that proves that the stain really is... It's an ink stain. I do believe that we found something of the sorts.
Yes!
It's the photograph and the ink it shows. That's what caused the stain on your uniform. Ink? A rather unusual color of ink. Purple. Ah, the penny drops at last. Now you see the significance. The Russian word on the floor next to the victim's body was written in purple ink. And the stain on the back of your uniform is ink of the exact same color. If the ink had been dry, it couldn't possibly have stained your uniform in that way. Which means... you must have been present in the cabin, in the moments immediately after the ink was spilled. Could have been a tag team still. Alright, yes. It was me, I did it. Everything. I arranged everything in that student's cabin to make it look like a wardrobe man did it. Then I pressed button to make Boria do emergency stop and bolt cabin door shut. I did everything so no one would expect our angel. Biff? Don't worry, Angel. Let me do talking. It was after 1 in the morning. I was on duty patrolling passageway. Then our angel came to me. She was white like sheet. Holy shit. I went with her. The door to cabin number 1 was open. Oh, so he staged it? Okay. So they're all guilty then. So he staged the rest. Well, he was quite lucky that everybody was sleeping because of the drug then. Otherwise he couldn't have done this at all. He's quite a mastermind because he almost got away with it as well. Then he tripped over it and broke his neck when he fell to the floor? Yes, that is right. So after the incident when the cat ran away, Miss Pavlova then visited the cabin next to hers? Only to find its occupant lying lifeless on the ground. She said she was worried when she heard the sound of something falling on the floor. That's when she went to look. No, Angel? The door was not locked. So she opened to look, and you already know what happened after. There's just one thing. If you wouldn't mind. What? When you went to Mr. Asogi's cabin, Miss Pavlova, was he already dead? Why? I already told you. When Nina opened door of students, I was asking Miss Pavlova. Well? Duh. Yes, that is right. I saw him. It was dark and he was wearing black, but he was on the floor, not moving. I was scared. I understand, and I believe you. So is that finally it now? Have we discovered the real truth about Kazuma's death at last? Something fairly nearly slipped my mind. This photograph. Yes, I took this myself, you know. The cause of death was a broken neck, therefore the victim died instantly. And the unfortunate incident that precipitated the events, a kitten on which the victim was stumbled. However, if those are facts, there's no one particular area in this photograph that seems to me unnatural. What do you mean, unnatural? The finger! What am I doing? If Kazuma tripped and fell by some terrible bad luck, broke his neck. Which part of this photograph? Well, the finger. Yes. Wasn't written by Kazuma. So if you're looking for something unnatural, that's the obvious point. Very true, it is certainly peculiar, but it's not what I meant by unnatural. That particular cross was orchestrated by the culprit. I mean to identify another point. If Kazuma tripped and fell... What the hell are they talking about? His finger doesn't make sense, right? That's the only thing to me that doesn't make sense. I mean, he's literally laying there, so... Yes. It must be here, surely. Allow me to offer you a piece of advice regarding the pursuit of detection, my dear fellow. When noticing a crucial point, it can be helpful to keep your eyes open. What the fuck are they talking? The finger doesn't make sense. It can be equally helpful to use them. For fuck's sake, man. It's the other hand. Okay. This is really stupid now, because we know that the scene is, that the scene is staged, but the thing is... His hand can be staged because it looks like this, but it's... According to this, it's his other hand. According to the walkthrough that I'm reading. It's his other hand. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever, because the thing is, if it's staged, anything can be done for now. The exact same thought occurred to me. Why is Dominic saying... Dominic's saying congratulations on getting into the final. What the fuck is he talking about? Is somebody is one of the English team like Kane or whatever? What is his name? Is he out or something? Is one of the star players out? I don't know. Dominic's saying like congratulations on getting to the finals. Am I missing something? UK team. Let me see here. I don't know. Probably the lineup or something? England vs Netherlands live. Trippier picked over Shaw and team lineup for a semi-final. I don't know. Yet there we see the victim with his left hand tightly balled into a fist. Almost, you might say. As though he were gripping something. What do you mean? Simply that I took the liberty of investigating the victim's fist a short while ago. Mr. Sholmes, show us. What was in his hand? Well, of course, my dear madam. Would I keep you in suspense? Well, yes, you are right now. This is what I found. A crescent moon with a little gemstone. Yes, that seems like an earring. Tells us nothing. The thing is, I have 10 more minutes left, but I feel like this is going to go for 20 more. And I desperately need to take a piss. Observation, Miss Naruto, that is the key. She's missing them. She's missing it on her right ear. Stop taunting me, game. This is the final clue. The last one piece of the puzzle. Yeah, you said that like an hour ago already. And observe. Find the answer with your own eyes. Well, it's an earring of some sort, so... We are... missing... She has such petite ears among that beautiful hair. Like little pink shells. Oh, what's that? Why, looky, looky, it's an earring. That's an earring. Wait, look. It's a crescent moon. Yeah, but now the thing is, do we go with the left ear or the right ear then? Because it's missing on the other ear. Probably this one, because it's shattered reality. Miss Pavlova, on your ear there. I see you have a crescent. This game does very well with hiding stuff. I'll give it that. Seems to be a crescent moon missing. The little link holding it on must have broken, I suppose. Now, the missing crescent moon was found in the victim's clenched fist. Clearly, there's only one logical conclusion. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruto? Yes. Miss Pavlova. Mr. Sogi must have been grasped that crescent moon and pulled it from your ear. Perhaps moments before you fell to the floor. You witnessed the moment when the victim fell with your own eyes. You were quite literally at arm's length from him. Did she push him? Over the cat. Why did he pull your earring from your ear? Because you weren't supposed to be there. He knew who you were. Please tell the truth. Last night. What did you do to Kazuma? Here's the finale. So she did it, but how did she snap his neck though? Did she push him? When I think about it, what happened yesterday, it was too much. Running away, the fishing boat in the middle of the night, trying to climb onto this huge ship. And then, when I saw when I was at last in this cabin and I could relax after this horrible long day. Mau Mau. Dark Cow waits. I couldn't believe it when she disappeared through the ventilator. Can we just call it the shaft or something? I tried to call her with a little whistle. I tried waving a favorite toy. But nothing worked. Daka would not come back. What are you doing here at this time of night, Inspector? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine. The young man from your country, he was very polite and kind. He helped me to find Darka, and he promised not to tell anyone. But then, when I had my friend in my arms again, and I was going to leave the man's cabin... Just a moment, sorry, but... Hmm? I'm sure I know your face, I've seen you somewhere before. You're Nikolina Pavlova, aren't you, the Russian ballerina? I don't know that name. My heart nearly stopped when he said that. Why? You know who I was? How could this man from a land in the far east know as a Russian ballerina? Well, he read the newspaper. Oh, he saw... Okay. Oh, okay. He didn't watch the ballet itself, so he doesn't need a newspaper then. What are you doing on this ship? Was performing in Shanghai at the moment. I can't fool him. I have to tell him the truth and hope he doesn't tell anyone. I have no other choice. I see. So you've run away. Please keep my secret. Don't tell anyone. Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here. Why did I think I could trust him? No, he wasn't going to pull the cord. Then it happened. Everything at once. It was only a second, but it felt like forever. Wait, I shouted, and then... Darka jumped out of my arms and down to the young man's feet. And... as he turned around to look at me... Oh, he fell onto the... Oh, you're pushing, you piece of shit. I don't even know why. I don't know why I did it. I was just so scared. And... I had to stop him from telling anyone about me. He wasn't looking for the cord. That's when you needed semen strong enough. So I ran to her. She was standing at the cabin door. Yeah, I know. I'm working on it. She looked at me and said, "Help me, Biff. If they find out I will be... I have nowhere to go. You're a miner. So you decide to help, and that's why you arrange things in Kazuma's cabin to make it look like I did it. So that no one would suspect the passenger in the cabin next door? Yes. I went into the cabin and I looked around to make sure there was nothing to show Nina was there. And then I found stowaway and wardrobe, still sleeping. So you worked out a plan to lay the blame on the stowaway. I closed wardrobe doors and put the paper sign on. Yeah, okay. So the only reason why we got out of this is because he decided to pull off the sheet of paper that was on the door, open the doors, throw us out there. Or no, you knew we were in there. So the only reason is because we were believed by Sasato is simply because of the fact that he decided to tear off the paper without actually tearing it to pieces. And then put it back on the door to make sure everything was set up in place for us to be the culprit. I wrote Suka bliat, so that person who found it would look inside the wardrobe. And tell me, what of the glass bell? It was by my feet, so I picked it up. I see. But it was dark in the cabin. I didn't notice the other half. What do you would notice because you only have half the bell. Okay, fuck me. And I finished the job by pressing the emergency alarm button in the passageway. This is quite elaborate. Accordingly, the Asbury did indeed come to an emergency halt at a little after 2 a.m., thus enticing the bolt on the cabin door to slide shut, creating the locked room mystery. There's still one thing I don't understand, Miss Pavlova. Well, you said that you told Kazuma about the fact that you'd run away from your homeland. And it's because you were worried he was going to tell the captain that you pushed him. Isn't that right? But even if he had pulled the bell cord and called for the captain of the ship, aren't you friends with every member of the crew? Why would that have been a problem? It was what he said first that made me scared. What he said first? A football betting scheme thing. Yes, I do. I think that's 2 minutes, so. Yeah, you pushed him. We get that. But he had a secret himself, which was us. So I think he was looking at us. It just doesn't seem to make sense. I mean, was Mr. Sogi really going to pull the bell cord? I don't know. Exactly, because she's friends with everybody in the ship. What do you think? Well, I'm not Kazuma, so I can't know for certain, but... he was a man of his word. If he told you he wouldn't give your secret away, then he wouldn't have done. No, he was walking over to it. He was going to pull the cord. He was going to make them send me back. To make who send you back? What the fuck? The day's work is not yet done, it seems. There's one more deduction to make. I need to take a piss so badly. This is taking so long. What was he looking at? Consider the victim's location within his cabin. That's easy, I remember every detail of that room. I mean, yes, I spent quite a lot of time in the wardrobe, but still. This cabin has been my home for this entire voyage. So this is how the cabin looked last night when it's exactly how it was. Are you ready then? If there's one thing I learned tonight, it's that a simple gaze can reveal all manners of truths. Not only that, in order to draw the right conclusion. You can't afford to be out by even a little bit when you're following the gaze to where it lands. So when he turned away from Miss Pavlova, what exactly was Kazuma looking at? Or where was he going exactly? Yes, he was going to invite... I think he was... The wardrobe? My wardrobe? Yeah, because she has a secret, and now basically he's saying, look, I got a secret as well, there's somebody in there. You know, sharing secrets. That's what people do sometimes. Yeah, so something just tells me that... he was looking at the wardrobe because he wanted to share the secret. Considering everything that happened last night, certainly it may have looked as though Kazuma was going to ring the bell cords. The wardrobe. More importantly, what was inside the wardrobe? The man's red friend sleeping soundly. Exactly. What were his exact words? Tell me. From a member of the crew. No. Oh, okay, so no secret. He just wanted my consultancy. Okay. Oh, okay, so he was going to ask me if... Oh. Congratulations, Miss Pavlova. You killed a man who wanted to help you out. Well, this is just murder in the second degree, at least. I want to thank you for finally admitting the truth. I'm not gonna thank her, fuck that. Unfortunately, the truth is, a man lost his life because of what you did. And that will never change. I hope you'll never forget that. This is quite an interesting story. I mean, the way they tackled this all together... And then, in the very end, just made an entire circle back to her, well... Trying to incriminate literally everybody, you know, the snake, the cat, even the other guy, and then it turns out just to be him, because he just tripped over and fell. Jesus, this is a great game, to be honest. It's really tingling my... The thing is, sometimes the deductions are quite... meh, I guess? Mm-hmm. What about the fact that when the Russians tried to repatriate her? Apparently the English detective can speak to the immigration office and sort all that out. Okay. So she is getting away with it as well, much like the one now from episode 1. Oof. Even if she wants to return in the future, I doubt she would be able to. She ran away, so now she's in exile for life. Oof. She's 14, man. She's a fucking orphan. She's 14, she has nothing. Oh, you actually do feel sorry for her, because she didn't want to do this, you know? She didn't want to kill Mr. Asogi. She didn't want to kill anyone. She was just very afraid that she would have to go back. But the thing is, the entire ship is made up of her friends. But in the end, she just pushed him because she was too afraid that he was going to do something. And then, yeah, she died because... Or he died because of it. She pushed him because she was afraid. And now she has nothing. At first I was afraid, I was petrified. I don't know any of this song anymore. I'm not Gloria Gaynor. I was wrong. I completely forgot the lyrics to that, but yes. Well, perhaps she will indeed survive. Is it someone weeping? Oh. Oh, I just love his katana. I'm just holding it. Oh, I want to unsheath his massive katana. Oh, Shing. Dude, can we keep going? Holly, don't ruin it. Okay. I do feel sorry for her. I still can't believe this has happened. I can't believe someone's life can be over. Just like that. Sasato. He had such grand ideas for his visit to Great Britain. So many dreams. And now they've been cruelly taken away. Just as he has. I thought I could never forgive the person responsible. But now... Now we know the truth. That it was just an accident. Just a silly series of mishaps. It's too much, Naru. It's just too much. Yeah, I know. I wish there was something I could say. Inspector. My duty was to see Asogi safe to Britain, but I failed. And caused his two closest friends great pain and suffering. As a result, I've let everyone down. And I will do anything to make up for my terrible blunder. Nobody blames you, Inspector. My fucking god. Keep going, game. Is that the... Oh, for fuck's sake, Sholmes. Surprised? What is the meaning of this? Oh, a trifling matter. Simply that in my head, I think I shall always picture you wearing those shackles. Without them, the balance seems all wrong. It's distracting. So I decided to restore them for all time's sake, shall we say? You are a stowaway after all. Ha 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 ha. For a minute, I know what you want me to do. I can't go any faster than this. Please just fucking end this already. We know everything that happened. You have 4 minutes. I need to take a piss so badly, man. I'll make it then. Yeah, you make it. Yes, you make it. Thank you. This stream took way... This took way longer than I initially expected, but the twist after twist after twist after twist. We have to return to Japan and make a full report about everything that's happened. Wait a minute. It's just me that has to go back, isn't it? I mean, I was the stowaway. Yes, but no. Terms of the study tour were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. It was to be 1 lawyer and 1 assistant. In the light of Mr. Soga's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go... What do you mean? I can be. Wait, Ryu can be. Sasato. My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. Can we just fucking hell? All your cry is 1 lawyer and the study tour can continue, correct? But there's no one else with the necessary Mr. Sholmes. We know no other lawyer. Qualifications, you say? Any qualifications obtained in your own country will be of little value in Great Britain. But anyway, the voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer. Yes. Sasato? Do you think perhaps I might be able to do it? But you're not a lawyer. Oh, unless... Are you studying law? No, I'm not, but... I have that thing. Did I misclick? As I said, there's still more than a month before we will reach England's shores. Isn't that right, Mr. No. I have a month in which to study to learn what I must to become a lawyer, blah blah blah. Oh my fucking god. Anybody could learn all of that in just 40 days? Well, there's only one way to find out. I would work my fingers to the bone, Inspector. Every single day. Will you let me try? And if, by the time we get to Great Britain, I haven't learned enough, I'll take whatever punishment is deemed appropriate. So then you have to go 2 months all the way back there. Okay, good, nice, great. Why put yourself in such a difficult position for Kazuma? People, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. It's getting way too long. It's 9 p.m. I said I would do it earlier, but it just takes way too long. We are taking his place. That's all you need to know for episode 3. So I want to thank you all so much for watching. I will see you upcoming Wednesday, or upcoming Sunday. It's Wednesday right now. Upcoming Sunday with a next poll stream. Good luck to everybody that did a poll, and yeah. I will see you all upcoming Sunday.